Some teams are bad. Other teams are good. Top 10 best teams. What's up, my epic gamers, and welcome back to another top 10 on the channel. Today we're going to be going down the top 10 best Inazuma 11 teams in my humble opinion. If you missed the last top 10 episode thing, top 10 thing, we basically went over my top 10 least favorite teams, and we went over why I thought they were bad. So today we're doing the exact opposite. We're talking about good teams. We're talking about the prestige teams. The pristine team? Yeah, the pristine team, the prestigious teams, the teams that I look at and go, yes, all of this, I want more of this in me right now. And so that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. Again, very little in the way of rules. Anything as a team except competition route teams. We're going to exclusively about the anime story teams and all that. But alright, without further ado, let's go for it and let my biases for Inazuma 11 2 show. Do they deserve to be on the list? No. Are they on the list? Yes. Cloister Divinity, for me, has definitely shot up recently just because of how underrated I think they are as a general team. They're supposed to be this incredible team, one of the best teams ever. We don't really get to see that in any time. And I love that idea of a hidden promise so much. I love the idea of them kicking so much ass, but they're just kind of calm and collected. They don't really do anything about it. They could be ass kickers, but they're not because of morals and integrity and all the stuff that Raimon doesn't have. I really like Cloister. I love what their players look like. I love Scotty, and I think Scotty's scenes are amazing. Like, I cry watching Scotty in the Inazuma 11 2 anime. Like, his scene with Mr. Veteran brings emotions out of me I've never seen before. Like, genuinely, Cloister Divinity, for me, for what could have just been such a simple martial arts team, I love so much. They're not my favorite Inazuma 11 2 team, as you will see very quickly, but I do have massive respect for them, and I think they're by far possibly the most underrated team in the entire series. Is that a fair opinion to say? Is that true? We'll see. Moving on. Ice, baby. Sometimes you want a hug. Alpine number 9. I couldn't think of a better opener, because really that's what Alpine is. They're wholesome. They're all about that warmth and that hearth, despite being an ice team. They just seem like a nice group of peeps. You got Sean Snowfield. He'd give good hugs. Roland Kleinstein. He'd give good hugs. You've got Kerry Bootgater. I'm sure she's down for some hugs. Really, Alpine just make me feel good. And that's what I like about a team, is going there and knowing I'd have a good time. If this was purely based off what team would I want to join, the answer is probably Alpine, in fairness, because sure, it may be cold, but the sheer warmth they bring together is a package deal. And even have to do Sean Frost, because Sean Frost won, and then Sean Frost, and technically I guess you could slap the Ares version in here as well with Aiden and that, and sure, as a collective, why not? But honestly, I love this team. I love everything about them. I think they're just lovely, so charming, so nice, so charismatic. Even quite amusing and funny and entertaining and wholesome. Really, this is a win. And the fact they're only number 9 is probably like blasphemy or something. But I'll put them in here anyway because I'm not scared of God. What is the best match in Inazuma 11 history? What is it? Well, whatever you said, it's wrong. It's Fire Dragon versus Inazuma Japan in Inazuma 11 3. That is personally my favorite, at least. It's 4 episodes long or something like that, and it includes so much character development and so much cool moves, so many cool moments, so many memorable moments in it that I just can't not enjoy that match on such an insane level. And so, obviously, I've got to slap bloody Fire Dragon in there, because come on, Fire Dragon are like part of the reason why the match works, because their team is only full of memorable characters. We have Aphrodite, we have Torch, we have Gazelle, we have Choi. I love Choi. I think Choi is amazing. This tactician who comes in, he's like a tactician, he's like pew 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 pew, and he delivers these master strategies. He should use the general from Orion or something. Imagine if he popped up and just started inserting power into people's brains and touching. I think Choi is pretty fantastic, to be honest. And I think the entire team is. I think their moves are great. Jibarashi Ken or Racing Flame or whatever it's called is one of my favorite moves in the entire series. I think Chaos Break and Fire Blizzard are underwhelming, but what are you gonna do? Actually, Chaos Break ain't that bad. Chaos Break's pretty good. I'll give Chaos Break a pass. But aside from that, I think Fire Dragon is genuinely amazing. I think it not only contributes to a fantastic match, but also I just think the team itself, I think the kit looks great. I think the players are all great. I have very little bad things to say about Fire Dragon. They're like a nice, well, let's say Dragon. They're like a Beast Quest novel, a masterpiece. I delivered that joke horribly. Let me try again. Fire Dragon are like a Beast Quest joke. Went to shit. Fire Dragon are like a Beast Quest novel. Perfection. First try. Get your dicks out for Universal, y'all. Personally, I think Universal's pretty fantastic, all things considered. They're like just one of the best designed teams. I love theming. And Universal's theme of all being after like different constant like stars and all that, like and planets. I absolutely love it, and I love Soul's design especially. My favorite Universal member probably is to go to Saturn. I think he's fantastic as the goalkeeper. I know there's a lot of Saturn love in my fan base, and I completely have to agree. I think he's pretty just amazing. All things like just out of the entire team, if I could just choose one, it would be Saturn. I always use him every single time I can in Go, 100%, in like the Go Light and Shadow games. And I Universal itself is just, the kit is so good. The kits in Go generally are pretty fantastic. But Universal's kit is beautiful, and I adore the team so much. Their names, I adore. Their designs, like Mars. Just hold my head. Like Mars is a really cool player I love a lot. Soul, obviously, we've already talked about. Like you have a player called Uranus, and that's hilarious. That there's a 14-year-old called Uranus. I love that. But I've genuinely got to give so much credit to Universal just for being a fantastically designed team, a really fun team to watch, and just a genuinely great team. Very little bad to say. Hey Tom, it's time for your obligatory Aries/Orion mention before the comment section shills you for being an OG series fanboy. Okay, Dad. Polestar Academy is pretty cool. I think Polestar earn a specific mention because of the fact that we learned so much about all of their members. Not specifically learn a lot about them, we just get to see them in action for more than just a single match. They get 3 whole matches, some of these members, and I think it really pays off. You've got Spectra Magno, which is a fantastic move. I like Death Crater a lot. I like, Moja Catch is kind of weird. But I do like Moja Catch, Angel Ray. There's so many memorable special moves attributed to Polestar. You have Akaris. Akaris is great, love him, and obviously Elliot Ember, who was one of my favorite players in the entire series, let alone just Ares, let alone just Polestar. And so I've got to give a ton of credit towards him. Personally, I think the team just shines as a collective more so than any other team in Ares or Orion. Because Ares and Orion, I felt there's a lot of tendency to think that on a single player. And I didn't want to do something like include Alien Academy, just because, it's like an Alien All-Stars. That would have felt cheap, it would have felt weak. So I'll have to give this to the team that I just named. What are they called again? Polestar Academy. I'm really doing a good job showing how much I like them. To Polestar Academy for not only being a completely brand new, unique team, but being one of my personal favourites just because of the fantastic designs of them collectively, the fantastic moves they use, the great spirit they bring up, and also the fact that the Kirkwood Polestar match is one of the best in the entire series of the Ares series. So, yeah. How do you end a 3-season trilogy? How do you do it? It's a really good question. Well, the answer for me is make the team play against a version of themselves from the past, but this time better and looking different ever so slightly and being African. It's like they say in the hero's journey. The first step is equilibrium. And the last step is return to equilibrium, but this time they're African. Little Gigante. How do you pronounce it? Little Gigante? Little Gigant. I'm just going to call them Little Gigant because that's what I've called them my entire life. And I don't care if that's wrong. I don't care if it's Little Gigante or whatever. I'm going to call them Little Giant. No, Little Gigant. I won't call them Little Giant. I'll be slightly more respectful than that. They're genuinely really cool. I love this idea of FF Raymond, but better. And I think they really pull it off really, really well. You have a ton of cool players with a ton of cool moves. And what kind of it's none of the moves feel overly themed. None of the moves feel like overly taking the mick, overly over the top. All the moves are simple moves you could see on any player in the entire game, wouldn't feel out of place. But still feeling really powerful. Air Ride, Jewel Strike, Double Jaw. And then you obviously have Hector Helio, who is God Hand X. And obviously, God Hand X kicks a lot of arse. well, it catches a lot of arse, but it definitely catches a lot of arse. And I think Little Gigant makes what is possibly the perfect final boss of that original trilogy. It's FF Raimon, but better. And we're going to be getting back to FF Raimon, but better, soon. Ooh, I'm going to throw out a quick opinion real quick. Royal Academy Redux is the best designed team in the entire franchise. Woo! I just think they're amazing in terms of their designs. Little, Heelan, Sparrow, Argy Bargy, Jam, Caleb Stonewall, Alia, Samford, and King. There are so many cool designs in this team that just slip under the radar. Like slipping under like they're like slipping on gasoline. That's not slippery. Slipping on like a lubricant or something, I don't know. And like that's just cool, the fact that there's this team of you know, edgy boys who are all really edgy but also really cool at the same time and have amazing designs. I did a Scouts Only playthrough of Inazuma Eleven 2 pretty recently, and in that Scouts Only playthrough I used 3 members from Royal Academy Redux. 3 members from that team made it to my like my main 16. That's mad, because I like to try and only choose 1 player from each team, but with Royal Academy Redux, I couldn't do that. I had to bring 3. For those curious, it was Stonewall, Little, and Heelan. I had to bring those 3, because I love them all so much. I genuinely think that Royal Academy Redux is one of the best teams in the entire series. And I think it's not necessarily because of their story or like their context or anything, it's just because of how amazing they look. Yeah, it's not even about their moves or anything, so I don't really like their moves. I don't really like Breakthrough 2. Obviously, Killer Slide isn't very cool in that. But you know what I do love? Their designs. And in some cases, that's all I need. That's all I need to love. You could take out Samford and King, and I would still love the team just as much. And you could take out Caleb Stonewall, and I still love the team just as much. And I think that says a lot. Because obviously, I think there's a lot of tendency to hinge an entire team's quality off of a single player. Or, you know, 1 or 2 main players. And in this case, you could take out any of my favourite players, and I would still love the team just as much. It's got to be said. I was going to open this segment by making a joke where I'd be holding all of my Percy Jackson books and going, I'm a bit of a nerd for Greek mythology, but I have a lot of Percy Jackson books, and I don't really want to have to pick them all up. That feels like a lot of work. I do have this copy of the Iliad, if you don't believe me. So I am a bit of a Greek mythology nerd, it must be said. And so for this segment, I'm just going to do a tie and just say Mount Olympus and Zeus both get this place. Don't get me wrong, Zeus is 100% more iconic. But Mount Olympus has the better kit. Mount Olympus has Cronus, and I probably prefer Cronus to every single player in Zeus. Maybe just stop between that and Aphrodite. Zeus has Artemis. Very good point. Mount Olympus has Ballista Barrage, which I like quite a lot. Zeus has Heaven's Time and God Knows. Good point. Mount Olympus has Axel and Dave Quagmire as coaches. You see what I mean? For every pro for one of the teams, there's a corresponding pro for the other team. They're both amazing. I love them so much. It tickles my Greek mythology bones properly. I feel like I get a good little chuckle from it. And honestly, it pleases me a hell of a ton. The fact that 2 final bosses were based on Greek mythology is really cool. And I love the fact they didn't just repeat, they didn't do minor gods for Mount Olympus, which they very easily could have done. They did Titans, they took it up a level. And I think that's really appreciated. I very much wish we got to see more out of Mount Olympus, if I'm being honest, and that's probably the big thing that's holding them back from possibly beating out Zeus. But honestly, I adore both the teams. You could slap either one in your list, and I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. And you could tell me you preferred Zeus, and I would go, yeah, that makes sense. Tell me you preferred Mount Olympus, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I love them both genuinely equally. I adore both these teams. So yeah, shout out to my Greek homies. You're the real ones. Keep having cool gods. Yes, it's me. I'm a Galaxy stan. Yes, I'm putting Earth 11 at number 2. There is not one player from the Earth 11 I dislike. There is not one new player from the Earth 11 that I have any kind of negative feelings towards in the slightest and don't absolutely adore. This team is Falco. This team is Terry. This team is Frank. This team is Trina. This team is Buddy. See what I mean? I just can keep going on about how many players I adore from this team. It's very rare for me to say that I both love a team's concept and a team's execution. But in this case, I adore both factors. The team's concept, obviously being these players who are talented in some things, talented in other things, works out really well in terms of giving them a genuine sense of growth a lot of teams are missing. And their execution, well, the players look amazing, the players are amazing, and I enjoy being with the team at all times. I think it says a lot that when you get given in Galaxy, like a bunch of the other players from across the franchise, I didn't want to use any of them because I love the Earth 11 so much, I just wanted to keep using them. I stand by their opinion. There's not a single Earth 11 player I dislike. Arian, I like. Charisse, I like. Genuinely, not a single one I have any negative feelings towards. I'm not counting JP. We're not counting. He's not in the team. He's don't know what you're talking about. Number 1 may come as a surprise to people because I don't think I've ever really publicly said how much I adore them. But Dark Emperors are my favourite team in all of Inazuma 11. I absolutely adore this team. I adore the concept of the Raimon players becoming slightly power hungry and so turning into villains in order to try and fulfill their big, quest for power. It makes sense. We see this alias crystal be tempting. The idea of unstoppable power is something that is quite tempting. It's the same as the idea of unimaginable wealth, the idea of all these things. And so yeah, it makes sense that why in their weakest state, watching their former teammates become stronger and stronger and stronger, especially in the case of Nathan, where he's shown to be quite a jealous little pussy before, it would make sense why they would want to gain this insane power, even at the cost of their morality. But the inclusion of Thomas Felton, Shadow, and Malcolm feels so weird. Who would you want to be included? There's 11 spots in the team, and I don't really know who else you would want to be there. I think Thomas Felton and Malcolm make sense. They're players who are kind of quite linked to our protagonists quite substantially. Thomas Felton was always kind of shown to be Mark's, bro in times. I mean, I say bro, you know what I mean? Thomas Felton would give, Mark fist bumps if they saw each other in the street. So I felt they have a bit of a bond going on. So it kind of makes sense why he would be the goalkeeper. Because they need a goalkeeper, obviously. And then, obviously, for Malcolm Knight, well, that's Eric and Bobby's friend. So obviously that makes sense. And Shadow, well, he was on Raimon, and he's edgy. So I can live with that. This team makes Todd good. How can you possibly dislike that? The perfect blend of funny, because the designs are quite funny for some of the alias variants of our FF Raimon players, whilst also being genuinely dramatic, having an emotional match, an epic premise, and have really, really cool moves, and just generally being an insanely cool team. Dark Emperors are by far my favourite team in Inazuma 11, and one of my favourite aspects of the entire franchise. Thank you for watching this epic gaming video. I've been TXM Tom Spoors. We do daily Inazuma 11 content here on the channel, so make sure you click that subscribe button, like the video, comment, and all that YouTube jargon. I would love to hear your favourite team in Inazuma 11, so please let me know down below. But for now, I'll see you guys next one. I was trying to think of a better way to say goodbye than just goodbye, but I can't think of one, so goodbye.
We wanna say thank you to Levi, and a big thank you to Yuri. Always see us spamming in the chat hating. Oh, and let's not forget about us.